In the mid-1980s, BMW dropped a bombshell, the E28 M5. Born from the motorsport division, this wasn't just a faster 5 Series, it was a statement. Imagine, if you will, a car that could comfortably cruise through European cities and then, without breaking a sweat, unleash fury on the Autobahn or a racetrack. This was the E28 M5, the original super sedan, and in my humble opinion, it remains an icon. Under the hood, nestled the legendary M88 3 inline-6 engine. This 3.5-liter masterpiece was directly derived from the M1 supercar's engine, a testament to BMW's commitment to performance. We're talking about a naturally aspirated 24-valve engine producing around 286 horsepower and 251 pound-feet of torque, figures that were genuinely breathtaking for a 4-door sedan in its day. This power propelled it from 0 to 60 in around 6.5 seconds, with a top speed of over 150 miles per hour. The M5 wasn't just about brute force, though. It was about precision and balance. It featured a stiffer suspension setup compared to the standard 5 Series, giving it handling prowess that was simply unheard of in a car of its type. Driving it even today is a visceral experience. Market reception was overwhelmingly positive. Car enthusiasts and journalists were instantly captivated by this wolf in sheep's clothing. It wasn't just a fast car, it was a complete car. In terms of competitors, it essentially created its own niche. While there were other fast sedans, none combined luxury, practicality, and outright sports car performance in quite the same way. Perhaps the closest rivals were cars like the Mercedes-Benz 190e, or even high-performance coupes of the era, but the M5 stood alone in its segment. Production numbers were relatively low, with just over 2,200 examples built worldwide, making it a rare and highly sought-after classic today. It's a car built with passion, with a genuine motorsport pedigree, and with a clear focus on driving pleasure. Born from the already impressive 5 Series, this M5 wasn't just a sportier trim, it was a completely reworked beast. Initially, it housed a hand-built S38 B36 inline-6, a 3.5-liter masterpiece producing 315 horsepower and 266 pound-feet of torque. Later, in 1992, BMW bumped it up to a 3.8-liter, further refining the power delivery and increasing output to 340 horsepower and 295 pound-feet of torque. This engine was a true work of art and revved freely to its redline. Performance figures were impressive for its time, with 0 to 60 sprints in the low 6-second range and a top speed electronically limited to 155 miles per hour, though it was rumored to easily surpass that figure unrestricted. What truly set it apart wasn't just its straight-line speed, but its sublime handling. The meticulously tuned suspension, coupled with a limited slip differential, provided an incredibly balanced and a communicative chassis. It felt planted and predictable, yet playful and eager to be pushed. Its understated styling with subtle M badges and unique wheels further added to its appeal. It was praised by critics and enthusiasts alike for its performance, handling, and overall refinement. It quickly became a benchmark for other performance sedans, and its legacy continues to this day. It represents a time when BMW was truly at its peak, creating cars that were not only fast but also incredibly rewarding to drive. Finding a well-maintained example can be a challenge, but the reward is a truly exceptional driving experience. The E39 M5, just the name itself, evokes a sense of reverence among car enthusiasts, and for good reason. This wasn't just a Fast 5 Series. It was a watershed moment, and a car that, in my opinion, still sets the benchmark for the perfect blend of performance, luxury, and driver engagement. Under the hood was the S62 engine, a naturally aspirated 4.9-liter V8. It churned out a staggering 394 horsepower and 369 pound-feet of torque, and was mated exclusively to a Getrag 6-speed manual gearbox, and did 0 to 60 in a blistering 4.8 seconds. It was the way it delivered that power, the smooth, linear surge of the V8, the perfectly weighted steering, and the incredibly balanced chassis that made this car a true driver's delight. The exterior styling was similarly subtle, with only a few telltale signs hinting at the car's true potential: the quad exhaust pipes, the unique M5 wheels, and the slightly more aggressive front and rear design. It was a wolf in sheep's clothing, a car that could blend in with traffic but could also unleash its fury at a moment's notice. It garnered numerous awards and accolades, and it quickly became a legend in the automotive world. It went toe-to-toe with the likes of the Mercedes-Benz E55 AMG and the Audi S6. While those cars offered comparable performance, the M5 arguably offered a more engaging and a rewarding driving experience. It was the car that many enthusiasts lusted after, and it remains a highly sought-after classic today. In my view, the E39 M5 represents the pinnacle of BMW's M division. It's a car that perfectly embodies the spirit of the ultimate driving machine, a car that's both thrilling and refined, a car that's as enjoyable to drive on a daily basis as it is on a spirited weekend. Picture this. It's the mid-2000s, and BMW, known for its inline 6s and V8s, throws a curveball. They unleashed the E60 M5, boasting a naturally aspirated 5-liter V10 engine, the S85. This wasn't just any V10, it was a masterpiece, screaming to an 8,000 RPM redline and producing a staggering 500 horsepower and 384 pound-feet of torque. Imagine the sound, a symphony of 10 cylinders, unlike anything else on the road at the time, or even now. Performance figures were astonishing for a four-door sedan. We're talking 0 to 60 time in around 4.7 seconds, and an electronically limited top speed of 155 miles per hour. Remove that limiter, and you were well into the 190 mile per hour range. The controversial part, and something enthusiasts still argue about, was the SMG 3-single-clutch automated manual transmission. While lightning fast in its shifts in sport mode, it could be a bit jerky in everyday driving, especially at lower speeds. Some purists yearned for a traditional manual, which thankfully BMW eventually offered in later years in some markets, though not widely. As time passed and as people experienced the sheer brilliance of the V10, it gained a cult following. It had some stiff competition like the Mercedes-Benz E55 AMG and Audi RS6. The E55 AMG offered brute force supercharged V8 power, while the RS6 brought all-wheel drive traction and twin-turbo V10 grunt later in its generation. But the E60 M5, with its naturally aspirated V10 and rear-wheel drive, offered a more visceral driving experience. Yes, the SMG had its quirks, and the styling was initially polarizing, but these are minor footnotes in the grand story of a car that redefined the performance sedan and remains a highly sought-after modern classic today.